Hello.
The Eurorack celebrity.
I don't know about that, but
So we're here at Studio Stekker. Have you ever done anything like this before? Kind of this collaborative sort of working environment where everyone's kind of just milling in and out of rooms and working with each other?
no, this is the first. I mean, we've done synthesizer meets and I guess meetings in the U.S. where we have little get-togethers and friends come over and jam out on these systems together. We patch, and then two friends of mine throw these parties from Chicago, the Trash Audio blog run by Serchai and Justin McGrath. It's sort of similar. This is cool because this is like a big studio complex where there's a lot of producers that are in the building.
Yeah.
And they're not all making modular music. They're making various types of electronic and dance music and come from various different backgrounds. And some of them aren't using modular. Some of them are using just computers. Some of them are using synthesizers and drum machines. And so it's kind of a cool little community,
Yeah.
which is neat. And this is I would say this is like the rig that I've been using for this year, for the past few festival shows around the States and around the world. It changes all the time. You know, this is a new case that I've been testing for Oliver at Elite Cases from Tennessee. And this is actually a prototype 12U open book style configuration case. The hinges are here, so it's kind of most cases in this configuration usually open up in like a laptop clamshell, whereas this one opens side to side. What's nice about it is it's a little bit cleaner to patch this way when the configuration opens from left to right. Basically, this setup is trying to, in my own sort of way, trying to get 8 or 9 songs out of one patch. So the way that it's constructed is that I pretty much start on this end and it goes from left to right.
So you kind of modulate into different sections of the modular.
Pretty much. That's a simple way of putting it. My clock generator, that's the master clock for everything I'm using is the Steady State Fate ultra analog here. And I always love having a global tempo knob for the entire rig that allows me to control the BPM of the patch at any current state. I can slow things down to a complete dead stop, or pick somewhere in between. I come from a very drum machine, old school sort of DJ background, so I've always liked having some sort of master tempo to kind of increase the intensity of a show from starting at one point and ending at another. Basically, the chain goes from, I have this going out of the master click out, which goes into a mult. Then this mult is multing out to other sequencers, like the ModCan Touch sequencer. And what this is basically doing is sequencing 4 CV outputs of melodic sequences. I'm doing bass lines, leads, pads, and sort of FM tones and stuff of that nature into various other oscillator sources, like the mutable instruments braids is one of the sound sources in my FM video by ModCan.
And you've got 2 braids, right?
Yes, I have 2 here in my rig, and they alternate doing different. Some I'll have doing synthesis, some I'm doing drum sounds. Constantly for each part of the patch, as I'm moving through different movements, I switch all the different modes manually to change for each song. And that's why I'm using oscillators like the braids and the shapeshifters. I'm able to recall different synthesized model settings. And with shapeshifter, I can actually store 12 actual recall presets. And in this set, I'm using all 12. comes to the actual modules that I have in the case, I've tried to pick stuff that's, you know, it's a mixture of utilitarian type stuff like the Peaks mutable instruments, which is great. I love it because you can use it as an envelope generator, tempo tap, LFO. You can also use it as a drum synthesizer, and ADSR with 2 trigger inputs. So it's a it's a really good multifunction module to have in your rig to do lots of different things. And you might have noticed I have several of the old original V1 Dixie VCO LFO modules. It's a triangle core based oscillator as well. So they make great sound sources for FM, and they're great to use as small little LFOs with multiple outputs. And so as you can see, I'm using a lot of stuff that I guess packs a lot of functionality into a
small space. So do you kind of use the same sort of songs in the touch sequencer for each gig, or do you pre-program them for every different gig?
It's a little bit of both. I have some sequences that I have the first 8 patterns are kind of set that I kind of follow as they kind of guide me, because this patch can kind of, I've basically designed it to where I have sort of a loose idea where I can go with it. You know, I have this outline. It's very much like I don't know, the closest thing I think is like a free jazz approach. You have these sort of basic rhythms and melodies that are at the base of things, and then I'm changing and moving the timbres and shifting things around from that. And then I can totally change things to where if I'm feeling I want to change the direction completely, go more of a mellow or minimalize things, I can, or I can go very complex. That's exactly what I was looking for, was to design a patch that could where I could generate a lot of activity quickly, and then I could dissipate all that activity within just a couple of knob tweaks, or shutting a couple functions off fairly quickly to get the most expressive sort of sonic gestures and sequencing as possible. So that's basically what this patch has been about. I've done many different kinds of performances, some that were non-rhythmic driven, that were just completely abstract, sort of music concrete style modular patches, and this one is dealing more on rhythmic structures.